for the benefit of mankind. I want to begin by, in fact, I want to congratulate my brother who is here, that just spoke. His language is French, and I think he did a very good job. I want to start off with a quotation. This quotation is by Paracelsus. I don't know how many of you know him. He's a white Swiss doctor, a European doctor. And 500 years ago, this is what he said. The doctor cannot learn and master what he should know from time to time. He must ask and learn from elderly men and women, magicians, wanderers, all types of villagers, and various other people. The arts are not found only in the country of one person. It is spread over the whole world. It is the doctor who discloses the various wonderful powers of God. Where money is the aim, there will be jealousy, hate, pride, and arrogance will surely appear. That is Paracelsus, and 500 years ago, this doctor was able to pronounce something like that. The origins, I don't want to go too much in the origins because you have heard from the last panel and you've heard from our brother here and our sister about the origins that they're handed down from generation to generation, and that supported by prayers, drumming, spells, which has the ability to bring the body into balance and improve the health of the patient. And you know, when my brother Errol was speaking here just now, I don't know how many of you know that a lot of Europeans, a lot of tourists go to Haiti specifically for that voodoo. They know. You see, a lot of the tourists know about our culture more than we do because we are not advertising it and we are not supporting it. Thermal baths, treatments, the use of herbs in various forms. And I heard in the last panel, for example, there was a talk about the salt, the water. I wonder if you know that the salt water is very good for your eyes, for glaucoma. I don't know if you know that, but there's a way to administer that salt water that helps the eyes and benefits the sight. And these rituals have shared the ways of healing arts with ancestral roots for our diverse ethnic community, namely African, Asian, Amerindian. I have coined a word. It can be used or it doesn't have to be used, but I've coined this word CAIM, C-A-A-A-I-M, pronounced CAIM. Caribbean, African, Amerindian, Asian, indigenous medicine. Why I thought about coining a word is that when we go to India, we speak about Ayurvedic medicine. When we go to China, we speak about the Chinese medicine. And it would be good if in the Caribbean there is a word in all our Caribbean countries that identifies with the indigenous art and the indigenous program and the indigenous medicine that we practice. So CAIM, if you go to Trinidad, you ask for CAIM. You go to Barbados, you ask for CAIM. Any one of the countries. And so I think it should become whichever word it is. It doesn't have to be CAIM, it could be another word. But the name should become a household slogan globally. But more so, it should be respected among ourselves with pride, dignity, and protection. Many countries have recognized the therapeutic effects of alternative medicine. I come back again to what our brother showed us just now with the voodoo. It has a therapeutic effect. There are therapeutic effects in our traditional behaviors and our traditional medicines. And at this forum, we are here to find and implement alternative medicine as a global healthcare facility in the Caribbean, which could be attractive or which should be attractive to the planet. The attention of the potential value of indigenous and traditional medicine has to be acknowledged. This is the success in expanding national healthcare services And we have, in expanding these healthcare services, we have the manpower. Those traditional practitioners, those traditional healers, that's manpower, medical manpower that we need to work with our conventional practitioners. This is the success of all countries involved in this lucrative form of medical tourism. By promoting the access to holistic medicine as a significant contribution to their healthcare systems, which they nationally allow to function. These people who are successful, they have integrated the system in whatever way. Have we undertaken this task in the Caribbean? No. The majority of Caribbean countries disrespect and dishonor the only true legacy left by our ancestral heritage, namely the sacred art of indigenous, and lead to a successful treatment. The exchange between Caribbean and Western nations. We can no longer afford to pay the inflated prices out of international loans that we receive for natural drugs that are collected from our region, sent to laboratories in the Western nations for screening and analysis, and then sent back to us, sold back to us, when we are the countries of origin for the primary raw material. At this point, I'd like to let us understand that we use the word alternative, and I will be using it today throughout, and as we hear it in the world. But how can the origin of anything be the alternative? See, we are the origin, and the origin, it shouldn't be the alternative. The worldwide demand for pharmaceutical plants are so important that there is an immediate need for Caribbean cooperation, production, and distribution of herbs and herbal medicine, naturally and internationally. There I'm dealing with some children from school children. We try to encourage the school children to understand this medicine. The effort to satisfy this need is by networking with the Caribbean Tourism Organization or vice versa. Then our health officials will be in a position to suggest alternatives for the people, which will then condition us to enact our own patent laws, because there is presently a variety of indigenous and traditional holistic treatments from our region, which are consistent in their applications. This knowledge is familiar to tourists in and out of the Caribbean, and who would more than welcome alternative medical treatment in the Caribbean. Have we got a database of the authentic holistic practitioners in our countries? No. We need to amalgamate those skills and gain portions of that knowledge while those who possess it are still alive. Our people need to be educated to explore the possibilities for immediate cooperation and market information and technology, because our economic gains in this area continue to remain minimal. Now, the methods or techniques are integral parts of our people's culture. I'd just like to point out something to you. For example, the Guyana Association for Alternative Medicine, GAM, that was brought together by myself and some other brothers and sisters. And what has happened is that because we use the word Guyana, it doesn't mean that it's a governmental organization. It's a non-governmental organization. But in respect to our country, we have instituted the name, the Guyana. Now, if you look here, you'll find the Minister of Health, our Minister of Health, and he is at the bazaar that we are having there. We are having a exhibition, and he was there. So you see, even though they have not supported in terms of institutionalizing the medicine, they still visit and they still take part in some of the things. The Bagja Health Movement, the BAKJA, the B represents the Blessed One of Buddha, the A represents Abraham, the K represents Lord Krishna, the J represents Jesus and Jehovah, the A at the end represents Allah, and you know what Jah is, Rastafari. So we have many tourists seek this art of medical assistance in our country because indigenous and traditional medicine lead to to effective results. Alternative medicine continues to be a source for humanity to cure diseases. Our various systems of holistic medicine in the Caribbean is conditioned by the vast variation in the ecology of our regions and the accumulated wisdom of the people and their experiences. You've heard that today so many times, I don't need to go over it again. This industry has been growing rapidly over recent years, and millions of people are traveling to foreign countries for medical procedures. Without medical insurance, most Westerners have difficulty in affording treatment, and sometimes even with insurance, the costs for allopathic treatment are much higher than those offered by holistic practitioners. We know that. Just to name a few of the Caribbean alternative medicine rituals and ceremonies with potent therapeutic advantages for tourists. Our brother just showed us the voodoo. But we have the Comfort, the Kalimai Puja, the Santeria, the Shango in Trinidad. You have Obeah. You know, in our country, you say you're going to the Obeah man, you're going to do something terrible. They don't, you know, you're going to see the Obeah man. That is not a good man. You see? But I always look at it sometimes to tell my people, you know, O-B-A man. We have the Reiki, and we heard again our yoga from our last panel, fasting. You have magnetic therapy. I don't know if you know much about that, but there are certain minerals, certain magnetic elements in our Caribbean culture that can be used that are very, very good, especially for like rheumatism, arthritis, and so on. These all have techniques in ease and tension, and I think I want to support Errol again to explain it as he has been trying to explain it in his own way. These all have techniques in ease and tension and psychological stress based on the principle that energy can be channeled into the patient to activate the natural healing process of the patient's body and restore physical and emotional well-being. The belief of the patient plays an important role in alternative procedures, just as it does in the naturopathic. This, I think most of you know. This is the definition by the World Health Organization. And we in Guyana, we are working with this. The sum total of all the knowledge and practices, whether explicable or not, used in diagnosis, prevention, and elimination of physical, mental, or social imbalance, and relying exclusively on practical experience and observation handed down from generation to generation, whether verbally or in writing. I really love the WHO. The WHO recognizes the role of this medicine in effective health care, and enlightened countries have enacted requisite laws to regulate its practices. But many of us in the Caribbean continue to shun and denigrate it. I know that many of you might not like how I'm speaking, but the truth is the truth. And the thing is that we have enlightened countries are getting their doctors to study this art of medicine as a part of their training. We are not doing it. But most of our doctors in the Caribbean advise against using this form of treatment. I've been told I got to move. So I want to go to an example. In Switzerland, there is a village called Appenzell, where only alternative practitioners are allowed to practice. We need to learn from others who engage in alternative medicine. The WHO again have the traditional medical strategy, which is developed in response, and they are harnessing the potential contribution, promoting the safe and effective use of traditional medicine by regulating and researching. So in Guyana, there is the Guyana Association of Alternative Medicine that you heard about. The Medical Institute, we have decided that since we are not getting the support, and this is happening all over the Caribbean, that we're not getting the support from our governments as we should have, then we have to do it on our own. And we are here at this forum, I'm suggesting GAM, an association for alternative medicine in our countries. It can be BAM, it can be TAM, the Trinidad Association for Alternative Medicine, and GAMI, which is the institute. So we are showing that we're not only speaking about the medicine, but we also have an institute where we are prepared to train and our brothers and sisters. It remains a key responsibility of member states to protect the health of the population. The strategy plan that recommends that countries use best practice approaches in order to develop regulations. Recommendations. I think this is important. Oh, we're out of time? She's out of time. Okay, just let me go through some of the recommendations, okay? Quickly. Make sure, let it also be understood, okay, developing partner and functional strategic relationships with alternative medicine practitioners. Ensure that practitioners are accredited by national regulatory bodies. Design and promote alternative medicine tourism packages. All practitioners and vendors should register with the association. Keep a register of genuine practitioners. Permanent centers. A mall, an arcade, a bazaar should be encouraged exclusively for herbal products, alternative treatment, and versatile information. Ethical efforts must be made to understand and respect the patient's culture. But I think my sister is going to be asking us here about these things, and then we can, I'm going to get away from you. Thank you very much.